Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Valero. I'll be your professor for the summer term. So a couple of things that I want to go over is first off, welcome to Social Science 306. I'm going to keep trying to do a couple of these videos where I'm just kind of explaining the week for you. I think this is kind of an easier way of doing this rather than me just writing out something. I'll also have like a written component, but it's going to be taxing if you're just going to be reading over and over and again. And then the other thing is too, like we don't have any connection whatsoever, in person. So at the very least, you can actually hear me talk. There's going to be a couple of things that happen in this class where we're going to be, or there's already pre-recorded lectures for everything that we're going to go over. I also have those on YouTube. So there's a YouTube channel that you can actually subscribe to. And if there's any new videos that come out, or if there's any new updates that I post, I'll go ahead and add those on. There's also like previous class lectures that have been on there. I'll make sure that I put everything in a particular folder just in case. And then from there, you should be able to have things that are really accessible, because I'll be making sure that they're here on Canvas. I'm going to make sure that they're also here on YouTube. And so you'll have availability however you want to have access to your material. So that'll be pretty good. And hopefully that'll work out for us. Um, and just please feel free to give me feedback on what's going on when it comes to just email me. I've been really receptive of getting emails from you guys. So just let me know what's going on. So a couple of things that I wanted to go over just as kind of an intro. This is um, more of like just what to expect from the course. And then I'll have a separate video that I'm going to post on just like best practices for Canvas, because I know that we are going to be in a pilot program where we're going to be using Canvas. So I've kind of gotten the bearings on it. I Now that I figured it out, I like it a lot more than Blackboard. It's just a lot easier to figure things out. And I'll be sure to go over that in another video that you'll see probably below. So the first thing I want to do is kind of explain to you, like, what is it that we're doing here in expository writing? Like, why are you taking this class besides the fact that it's a graduation requirement? So I'm sure all of you are extraordinarily thrilled at taking this class, as a graduation requirement in the summer. So I'm sure you're all thrilled at being here. So I'm already at a disadvantage when it comes to people being eager and willing to want to be in the class. That being said, I intend for this class to not be a waste of your time. If there's anything that I like to joke about with this class is to call this how to get ahead in grad school without really trying. I'm going to teach you a lot of tricks that you will find beneficial for not just this class, but for other classes that are going to require research or critical thinking or writing. So I want you to be able to have a wider tool set than when you walked in with. I want you to be a better writer when you're finished with the course than you were getting into the course. And that's kind of my main goal. It's like wherever you're at, I want you to be better than where you were. So I don't want you guys freaking out too much when it comes on to grades. It's not to say that um, grades are just going to be tossed away. They're not. But a lot of the stuff that I do is credit no credit. You either did it or you don't. I do have heart because of the nature of this course. There's not a lot of opportunities for things to be late. So the way that I've kind of made the class, because it's such a truncated schedule, is that it's done week to week and broken up, and I've given you stuff that I want you to chew on for the week. You doing any of the stuff at the end of the week is not going to work. Like starting doing work on this class on a Thursday or a Friday, that's not going to fly because some of the stuff is due on Fridays. But I just want to go over a couple of things that we are going to go in the class and kind of break it down from here. So expository writing means to explain something. And in this case, we're looking at like technical journals, academic journals, news articles, broadcast editorials, things like that. So one of the big focuses that we have is looking at news literacy. How well are you able to take in the news? And so the news is going to be a big thing in this class. And so you'll notice in one of your course modules is in the student resources section, in the class resources section, is something called news sources or news outlets. You're going to want to look at those a lot. Because I'm going to have the expectation is that you are up on current events. You're going to need to, because the whole basis of this class is wrapped around you picking a controversial research topic, preferably in your field. So if you're in sociology, or if you're in child development, or if you're in psychology, or if you're in criminal justice, political science, or what have you, that you pick a controversial topic that's related to your field. Political science, for example, like whether or not the Supreme Court should be expanded, or if you're sociology, whether or not DACA should be reinstated, or if you're in criminal justice, whether or not there should be, not whether or not there should be police reform, but what does that look like? Or if you're looking at child development, like, should spanking be illegal? Like it is in many Scandinavian countries, or, should there be parental licensing? Things like that. Nursing, there was an interesting one that just happened recently on, whether or not we should have expansion of PrEP and HIV prevention services. So there's some really interesting stuff, and I want your imagination to really kind of let that be your guide. And so that's going to be one of the things that I'm really, really, really encouraging for, is because when I was an undergrad, one of the best things that that any of the professors did for me was that I had the opportunity to kind of branch out and do my own thing. And as a result, I was able to succeed really, really well. And I want to give you guys the same opportunity. I want you to be able to like take whatever like final paper that you craft in this course, and I want you to be able to use it in, let's say, a final, a senior thesis, or, an independent study, or what have you. Or, like an advanced upper graduate or upper division level course. Like I want you to be able to use the stuff that you've researched here and be able to take it other places. So that's a big thing for me. I want you to be able to do that. So there's the form is going to be up for you to submit your controversial research topic. And so really take the time to pick a good topic. Those will be due sometime next week. You should be seeing that by the time you're seeing this, that should already be up on Canvas, and you'll see that as one of the modules to go ahead and like submit your controversial research topic. And I'll be giving you feedback on whether, what I think, or if there should be any kind of adjustments made to it. And don't worry, when it comes to assignments, just as a quick aside, I'm going to provide you a lot of tools and a lot of resources. So when you have a big paper, you're always going to have a how-to guide. You're going to have a prompt. You're going to have a like a do's and don'ts that kind of explain like what the purpose is. You'll have a writing guidelines checklist that will make sure you don't make any kind of dumb mistakes or silly mistakes. And I also include 2 example papers, real example papers from real students that have gotten A's on that assignment, that have gotten full credit on that assignment. So that way you have 2 examples of how 2 different people did it, not to mention all of the other resources. So I'm not just going to leave you high and dry, like, hey, here's a paper, here's a prompt, figure it out. I'm not going to do that to you. So that's going to be kind of the cadence of how the class is. You'll notice like underneath every assignment, there's going to be like multiple resources that will be indented under it inside of the modules. This will make way more sense when you actually look at Canvas and kind of and broaden it out, because you're going to basically be living in that modules tab for the whole class, because everything will be broken down by week. But why are we picking a controversial topic? Well, everything that you do, and I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Everything that you do is going to be based around the controversial topic that you pick, minus, of course, the writing sample that you're going to be turning in, and I'll mention that at the end of this video. The controversial topic that you pick is going to dictate the hot news research paper that you're going to do, where you're going to analyze 3 different newspapers covering the same story. But those stories will be related to your controversial topic. So if you did something on gun control, it would be something about a shooting or a law that was getting, or a gun control law that was getting passed, or a gun control, ban that was getting lifted, whatever it is. But you're going to look at that story of, Texas lifting a gun control ban, for example, on, from CNN, Al Jazeera, and Vox. You'll look at 3 different types of sources, and you'll compare and contrast how they did that. And then after you did those 3 and after you do that hot newspaper, well, you've got 5 newspaper sources that you pulled in order to get that done. Cool. So you can bank those for later on. Then the next thing that we're going to do after that is called the journal article analysis, which is where we'll take one journal article and you're going to break it down and analyze it bit by bit. You're going to dissect it, kind of like a content review. And what you're going to be doing with that is, the nice thing is that you're going to really deep dive into some analytical, theoretical research based upon your controversial topics. So you really kind of get into like the theory and the meat and potatoes of anything that's really kind of prescient in the field. And you'll get to read it, like you're going to have to in order for you to finish this paper. And the cool thing is that before we even do that, I have you get all your sources beforehand. I have you fill out a form and say, like, here are 5 sources that I'm thinking of using. And like, cool. That means that you're able to bank those 5 sources. And so you've already had, so as you're going along, you're banking all of the sources that you're looking at. And you can see is this chart that I have up on the screen. And so the really cool thing about that is, by the time that you get to like doing the annotated bibliography and the outline and the presentations and then the final paper itself, you're doing work for your final all throughout this term. Like throughout these 4.5 weeks that we're going to be pressing on through, you're going to be able to do all of that. And so I don't want you to freak out too much, because everything that you're doing is going to be in the service of your final. And so you're not going to have to just like, hey, we're going to get to the final paper and then, you're just kind of on your own, kid. Like, we're not going to do that. So you're going to be with there every step of the way. So that way, you feel like ready by the time that you write this thing in, 4 weeks time. So that being said, what are we looking at for like this coming week? Well, we're just kind of starting today. Today's technically today is Thursday, July 8th. We're just kind of starting. And so the first thing that I want you to do is to get the book. And I encourage you to get the digital book. Don't wait on getting the physical book. The digital book is a lot easier to use as well. I mean, if you were to see the book, it's like that. It's super thin and it's like yay big. It's like a little like handbook size. So when you see like read, from the preface to chapter 4, it's like 35, 40 pages of something that's that big. You'll fly through it. And it's funny, which is hard to find for a grammar book. Trust me, it took a long time for me to find something like this. And I don't charge you an arm and a leg to buy $90 to $120 worth of books. It's one like $15, $20 book. That's it. All the APA stuff and Chicago citation stuff, I can teach you myself. That's the whole point I'm here. So the thing that I want you to do for this weekend is I want you to read the book. I want you to read the book, and I want you to do your writing sample. So those are kind of the 2 priorities that you have, because I know you'll see some stuff for next week. You're going to have time to do that, because the assumption that I'm making is that you are dedicated to this class. Like, there are restrictions on how many classes you can take during the summer. I am under the assumption that you are only taking this class. And so I'm assuming that you are going to be able to have time every day of the week in order to kind of chew on this. And that's how I would encourage you to do it. Like, an hour or 2 here, 2-3 hours here, an hour here, a half hour here, of you just kind of nibbling at stuff. That's why everything I do is so bite-sized and everything is all broken up. I don't like have a video and then a gigantic module, and then I have it all broken up. So it's a little easier to digest and to kind of knock it out. But I want you to read from through the preface because the preface will explain like how to read the book, because it's not like a normal like textbook. It's more of like a handbook and like a style guide. And then the other thing that I'm going to want you to do is I want you to write your writing sample. And the way that you're going to in the writing sample, you'll see the prompt, but like in a nutshell, I just want you to write on something that you like. If it's a movie, if it's an anime, if it's a hobby, if it's something that you're just really into and really passionate and you could argue for hours and hours on why it's so great. I just want you to write a paper telling me why Naruto is great, or why Resident Evil is great, or this Mindhunter on Netflix, or crocheting or cooking or hiking or whatever it is, like whatever hobby you're into. I want you to tell me like why is it great. I do this as an instance because I just kind of want to see how you're writing. I just want to see like what you're doing with like no instruction, no prompting. I just want to see how if I just say write something, write it. I do want to let you know it's credit, no credit. So as long as you do it, you're going to get you're going to get full credit. Now, if you like go in and just, don't do a good job, or you just like, it's half done. Well, obviously I'm not going to like give you full credit on that, but like if you give it a fair shake effort, I just want to see how you write. That's all. Like if there's mistakes and all that, don't worry about it. That's my job in order to find, so I can help you edit them. There's like, I want to be abundantly clear in this class that I am not here to like punish you for not knowing something that I'm supposed to be teaching you. So like, just be like abundantly clear about that. Like, I do not want you to be like freaking out. Like, oh my God, I didn't know about like the proper citation for X, Y, and Z when we haven't even discussed it. Calm down. Don't worry about it. I saw like some people were already posting stuff on Canvas like last night when I was just kind of like testing stuff out. You will have plenty of time. Don't freak out. If there's anything where we're running low on time, trust me, I'll cut it. Like, I'm not going to be, I am not a sadist, and I'm not interested in just kind of messing with you guys to mess with you. My intention is to teach you. And so if you can just do me a favor and follow along, that's going to be a big thing. The other thing that I want you to do is I want you to be looking at the writing journals. Those are already posted for week 1, because I'm just considering this intro week because it's really just Thursday and Friday. So week 1, you'll see something that's journal 1 and journal 2. 1 is from Benjamin Zander, Why Classical Music is for Everybody. And 2 is Do Schools Kill Creativity? And they're TED Talks. I want you to watch them first, take notes. And then I just want you to write a response. It's an informal response. You can use me, my, all of that. Trust me, if it's a formal written English paper, I will have in big letters, formal paper. If it doesn't say that, then don't worry about it. You can write informally, but I will make it abundantly clear in big bold letters, hey, this is a formal paper. And I'll give you all the guidelines for it. But most of the time, if I'm just saying, give me a response, I just want you to write. If in a writing class, the thing that's going to be the best thing for you to do is just to keep writing. That's going to be the best way for you to get good habits. It's going to be the best way for you to be able to like really kind of like sink your teeth into this. We can talk until we're blue in the face about how to write, but if you don't like get into the weeds and get in the trenches on it, it's really not for anything. So that's why I want you to be able to do that. So there's that. And then there's also one thing that I'm trying out that's new. It's called a quick take. A quick take is kind of like a shorter writing journal. It's no more than 200 words or 250 words, like no more than that. Like, I just want a short couple of sentences of what you thought of this particular video. And we're going to be seeing a couple of things from a series on Vox called Earworm, which kind of like chronicles like different like flashpoints in the music industry. So this week we're going to talk about disco and how the 12-inch vinyl kind of the 12-inch single kind of changed the way that disco influenced the music scene. And I want you to watch. It's like 8 minutes, and I just want to get like your gut reaction of like how well did they explain things? How, if there was a concept that you didn't understand and you were able to understand it because they explained it to you, that's what I'm kind of interested in, is like, well, how did you get it? How did you understand? What did they do? What did they show you? How did they explain it? Was it because of the visuals? Was it because how they gave Other examples is because they had experts, subject matter experts come in and explain it and give it credibility. I want to know all of those things. And I give you some questions to answer to kind of like guide you in your response. And the other thing I also want to mention with my prompts is more often than not, you don't have to answer all of the questions if they're not applicable. If you ever see a prompt and I ask you a question that isn't applicable to your paper or to your topic, a perfectly reasonable answer is no, or it doesn't apply to what I'm talking about. Acknowledge it and move on. Don't ignore it. Like, don't just not answer it. But don't give me a BS answer either. Because you have plenty, because you're wasting precious words that you could be using somewhere else. There's something that you guys are going to realize is that you're actually going to be pushing against those word counts pretty quickly, because I don't, my papers really are limited to like 3 pages. You think that's going to sound easy? It's not, because you have to be really good with your economy of words. So that's kind of where I want to go for just like the intro. I mean, this video is already going to be like 20 minutes long for an intro. So, but the thing that I want you to kind of go over for this week, for like the 8th through the 12th, is one, I need you to read the book. I need you to read up to chapter 4. It is essential because you will be having an exam on chapters on the book at the end of the next week. Fair warning. The next thing that I need you to do is I need you to go ahead and do your writing sample. Get it done as quickly as you can because it doesn't require any preparation. I just want to see how you write. Don't freak out. If you do need there's a title page example that I would prefer. That's in one of the modules called class resources. I provide a title page format. Just fill it out. It's literally already done. You just have to put your name, the title of the assignment. So you're going to put writing sample. When it says assignment name, just put writing sample. And then just, put your name and date and all of that. I've done it for you. You literally just have to fill it out and then put your paper underneath it. You'll submit it in Canvas. And the way that you'll do that is you'll save your paper as a PDF. It'll ask you to upload it to Canvas. You just hit upload file, click the PDF and drop it in. I have restricted it that it will not accept any other format. You try and drop in a Microsoft Word file, it won't work. You try to do an Apple Pages file, it won't work. Google Docs, it won't work. You need to save it as a PDF. If you don't know how to save it to a PDF, look it up. How to convert Microsoft Word to PDF, how to convert Google Docs to PDF. Most of the time, it just means you clicking on the file, convert PDF. And that's usually it. And then, excuse me. The other thing that you're going to want to do is look at doing the writing journals, because those will creep up on you because there's 6 of them over the course of this term. So there's going to be 2 for the first 3 weeks. So make sure that you're catching up on them, and they do close. So come Friday night, they're gone. They disappear. You can't turn them in anymore. So there's a time limit on them. And then make sure to do the quick take, and you'll see quick takes pop up throughout the weeks. And there'll be some interesting ones. Like I'm actually going to have you do a quick take on Prince's obituary, like the singer, the musical artist Prince. There's going to be a couple where we're looking at like hip hop, and there's going to be another one where we look at like metal and like the parental advisory sticker. So it's going to be some like fun stuff. I have one where we're going to look at like Doom, the video game, and like how Doom is explained as a game. So there's a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to have you do. I figured like I could either, I could pick fun stuff that still gets the point across, and it would still be good. So that's what we're going to do. So just to recap, read the book to chapter 4. Make sure that you do the writing journal and turn it in. The due date is posted on Canvas. I do believe that it is Tuesday, the 13th. Make sure that you're doing the writing journals. Those are due, I believe, by 16th, Friday. And make sure you're doing the quick take. That is also due by Friday. So make sure that you get that done, because when Friday comes around, week 2 stuff is going to show up. So Friday is going to be the cadence. We're going to start working off of Fridays. That way you have Friday through the weekend to kind of see where we're going next. So you can kind of prepare for it. as opposed to like Monday comes around and then you see all this stuff. So I kind of want to give you kind of a 2 days head start on whatever we're doing for the next week. So it's not just hitting you in the face. Other than that, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me. My email is Justin_Valero at csusb.edu, and I'll be sure to put it right here as we're talking, or as I'm talking. So that should be underneath there right now. So Justin_Valero at csusb.edu. Make sure that you email me if you need anything, and I will be very active on Canvas. So you need to be checking Canvas every day. Now, speaking of Canvas, I'm going to be doing another video that will talk about like how to use Canvas and how to look at stuff. And I'll be sure to be posting that very, very shortly. So, but I just want to get this up so that way everybody can kind of get a feel for the class and see what we're going and get a direction for this week. I hope everyone is doing well. I look forward to working with you all. Take care, everybody.